Is there any candy more satisfying than Pop Rocks? Well, apparently someone tried to make DIY Pop Rocks, and I need to see if it actually works. In a saucepan, I'm supposed to add 1 cup of regular sugar, some corn syrup, and a little bit of water. And this creator even flavors hers with Jolly Ranchers. We're gonna make it watermelon flavored. And now bring it up to 300 degrees, or what the candy thermometer says, a hard crack. Is a Jolly Rancher actually gonna melt with the sugar? And we're already at 245 degrees. And at 270 degrees, it appears that our Jolly Ranchers have melted completely. It's at 300. But now apparently she says when you combine sugar, baking soda, and citric acid, the reaction gets close to the real stuff. One comment said someone must have gotten an A++ in her chemistry class. Oh wow, you do see bubbles start to form. But mine doesn't look anywhere as pink as hers. Okay, and now I'm supposed to pour it out onto a tray. And somebody else said, well, I mean, Pop Rocks are just candies with CO2 trapped inside. Well, that escalated quickly. Now I have to let it cool completely before cracking it into small Pop Rock pieces. And I'm hoping this is gonna work. Okay, I let it cool completely and it's nice and hard. She broke her chunks up in pretty large pieces, but somebody said crush it smaller and use a hammer. Would this work? I don't know how hers came out so pink. Mine turned out like a caramel color, even with the Jolly Ranchers added. The texture feels pretty similar. This one's a little more dry. But now let's see if these will actually pop. I'm gonna try a bigger piece. So there's no loud popping sounds like these Pop Rocks, but there's little bubbles forming on my tongue, kind of like a really flat soda pop. And it's totally throwing me off because this looks like caramel, but the flavor tastes like watermelon Jolly Ranchers, a little bit fizzy. 6 out of 10. But we're gonna test a lot more candy recipes, so let's see if they're better than this one. And now that I look at it, it reminds me more of honeycomb candy instead of Pop Rocks. Speaking of rocks, this creator says if you want to give your girlfriend gems, but you don't have enough money, there's a solution. She starts by soaking her agar strips. I found these agar squares at the Japanese market, and we're supposed to soak them for 30 minutes until they're nice and soft. Agar is basically seaweed that turns into like a jelly texture. It's been half an hour, and these have definitely soaked through. They look kind of like a sponge. I'm gonna tear it into small strips like hers. But now she pops it into the pot, adds water, and cooks it until it dissolves. It expanded a lot. It's kind of cool just watching the agar melt with the water. Oh wow, okay, that happened so fast. But now she adds in her mountain of sugar and boils it down for 7 minutes. And technically we've made these candy gems before, but these ones are so pretty, like precious stones. And I just want to see how they taste in a different flavor. It's been 7 minutes, and now I'm gonna add my flavoring. We're gonna try green apple this time. I'm gonna give it a mix, and then we're gonna strain it into our container that we're gonna chill it in. The jelly stuff is still stuck here. Isn't this what's supposed to make my candy harden? I'm just doing what she does. And now she colors her mixture with a little toothpick, but since I want mine to look like a geode, I'm gonna go for full-on color. Tie-dye candy art. Now I have to let this chill in the fridge for a few hours to firm up. Oh my gosh. Sudden movements is making the colors bleed. Okay, so it's been a few hours. Our agar has finally firmed up. What's interesting is like the last time we saw this, it had like nice little swirls and stuff, except now the colors all bled with each other, and I don't know how I feel about this. But now she starts tearing her agar into little pieces. So let me go ahead and just cut little sections. Hopefully once I take it out, it'll look better than this mess. Actually, it's not bad. It looks more stained glassy than anything, but you can still kind of see the swirls if you look closely. Let's tear it. I love the natural ridges that did. You gotta get some pinks in there, cause pink jewels. This one looks like an amethyst. Okay, but the blue ones are my favorite because that is just so pretty. These look cool, but the ones they sell have really pretty crystals forming on top, and I'm wondering if I took smaller pieces and crumbled them like this, it would look more crystally in the end. But I think we can make them look even more expensive by adding some gold leaf. Okay, I want it to look really natural, so I'm just gonna tear this gold leaf. Whoever gets this rock just struck gold. And hopefully when they dry, you can still see the gold. That looks so pretty. Even my fingers are dipped in gold. Looks like I have the Midas touch here. But now I have to leave it alone for 7 days so it can form that crystallized shell. So we'll just check on it at the end of the video. Gummy peach rings are my favorite candy. These are nice and soft. And apparently if I cook these down and whip them up, I can turn them into marshmallows. This creator says the only difference between these and marshmallows is air. So I'm supposed to cook these down until they're nice and melted. I guess these can work because this brand is nice and soft. We're not using Haribo's here. These are gonna definitely need a few minutes to melt. It's already starting, but we have a lot of them. I'm just hoping that these don't burn. I mean, it's like honeysuckle in the candy factory here, or honeysuckle in the giant peach. Now it looks a lot like peach puree, but I'm gonna add it to my mixer. Once it's out of the pan though, it starts to harden pretty quickly. So let's work fast and whip in our special ingredient, air. I can see the colors changing and the air bubbles whipping in pretty fast. She doesn't say how long to whip them for, so I'm hoping they would just kind of like double in volume, and that's when I'll stop. Okay, halfway through, they are starting to kind of harden and it looks really, really sticky, but I'm gonna keep pushing it for a few more minutes. Okay, now it's just starting to ball up, and somebody said the texture looks more like Laffy Taffy than marshmallows, and I might have to agree with that, but let's go ahead and put it into a little mold lined with parchment paper. Why is this so hard? It feels exactly like gum. Just gonna have to use my hand. It's stuck. I don't know why I just went in and grabbed it with my hand just instinctually. Now we have to let it set while I clean off my hands, but if this actually works, you guys have to subscribe. It's looking pretty floofy. All right, let's do a quick midweek check-in on our crystal gems. Some of them are starting to form a little bit of a shell, and they look so pretty. This one is still a little wet, but the smaller ones are definitely forming a shell. This one almost looks like a geode already. So beautiful. Surprisingly, the little crystal crumbles on top is still pretty wet. So I feel like these need a few more days. I'm gonna keep sun drying them like she says, and we'll check on them at the end of the video. Our peach gummy marshmallow has set. It's still super sticky. I'm surprised she didn't dust it with some cornstarch or something to keep it from being so sticky, because usually that's how you would make it, and she unwrapped hers so easily. Mine is not unwrapping very easily. She was also able to cut it without having anything stick to her. I don't know how, but I'm gonna cut this little piece sticking out right here just to try it. I can't do the freaking scissors. You know what? We're just gonna bite into it. That's basically the chew that goes on forever. It's somewhere in between a marshmallow and a Laffy Taffy and gum. And I'm gonna say it didn't really work, but please subscribe anyways. 3 out of 10. And now we have these frozen jellies that went viral years ago, and I've always wanted to try them. This creator made 3 different types, where the first one, all she did was add some honey to a mini water bottle and froze it for a few hours. Apparently real honey doesn't freeze all the way. It just becomes like this beautiful cold jelly. And honestly, on a hot day, that sounds so good. But now she also does another combo with corn syrup and Kool-Aid that's supposed to have an even better squeeze or jelly texture. But first she says she's gonna mix it in a cup and then pour it into the bottle. She didn't show us the mixing process, so I don't know if the one she's using is liquid. Does Kool-Aid mix with corn syrup? Or was I supposed to add water first? Okay, that looks pretty good. It's definitely a smooth pour. Oh, I still have some powder at the bottom. I'm gonna try to fill this bottle up. And now for our last one, I have to do an experiment, because I've seen other videos where people add candy into their jelly. And of course, I wanna try it with Nerds. And I also wonder what'll happen if I mix half honey, half corn syrup with some Nerds in there. Will it be the ultimate frozen jelly texture? Now let's give it a good shake and mix it all together. This looks so cool. It's kind of like a lava lamp. But now we have to freeze them for a few hours. It's been a few hours, and these jellies are not super firm, but they're definitely frozen. Let's see how our first one, the frozen honey, turned out. As it froze, it definitely rose to the top. Whoa! This reminds me of those Juicy Tube Squeeze. People are asking, is this gonna work with braces? Now, I don't have braces, but I'll let you know how hard it is. I can confirm that you probably could bite it off if you have braces, but it's extremely sweet. It's like eating a spoonful of honey. It's nice and cold though. Now let's see how the Kool-Aid one turned out with the corn syrup. This one is a lot more gooey and soft. I don't think I could squeeze it as tall as the frozen honey without it spilling over.